back. Wages and Warriors with myself, Mario Herron. This new Bolt Crew episode up right now on YouTube, but here's where we're talking a little UFC, a little MMA action. There's a fight this weekend. We'll talk a little bit about that, but the most important thing I want to hit is a small preview of what we have to come next week in DDP versus Khamzat for the middleweight champion of the world. I almost forgot what weight classic. Freaking come on now, man. All right, but make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment if you love it, comment if you hate it. Really don't care either way. But let's get in. I mean, this is a card I'm very excited for next weekend. A lot of different storylines going into it. But the thing I'm really kind of fascinated about is, let's say Khamzat wins, right? 14-0. Continues his domination. The weird style of DDP doesn't get to him. Takes him out. Easy, right? There might be a problem. And the problem is how active is Khamzat going to be? Because my worry is, leading up to this, there's almost a year between his last two fights. Years some change between when he fought Kevin Holland and Kamaru Usman. He's had health issues that kind of kicked him out of the octagon. Not blaming him for that. That's just a tough bounce. But he's been sort of unreliable, and that hurts him. And as a champion, especially in the UFC, you owe it to the UFC and you owe it to everyone in the division to put yourself on the line and put that belt on the line as much as you can, as much as possible. Especially, there's always that classic line, you're not a real champion until you defend the belt, right? He's got to defend it. And he's in a division that has some absolute monsters that are chomping at the bit, and that a lot, you make an argument, deserve a title shot. So if he wins it and he's just doing these long pauses in between, how is the UFC going to like that? How are the fans going to like that? Because we have, we're pretty spoiled right now. Alex Pereira, when he was the champion, he fought 3 times in 2024. He's fighting it freaking again here soon in a month or so. You had Murad that's fighting 3 times in 2025. You had Ilya that's been constantly active as champion. This has happened over and over again. DDP, who he's fighting, fought twice in 2024, just fought in February. Now he's fighting again next week. These guys are going. They're flying around. And by the way, we just had this whole saga where a guy that was the heavyweight champion of the world wasn't going to fight the interim. And we were all waiting. Why is he doing it? Why is he doing it? And it just kind of lost its luster. And it became frustrating. Volkanovski, this guy took a fight on freaking short notice. But a terrible decision on his part, but he still did it. And, didn't go his way, but, what are you going to do? Islam, very active in that division. You have to be always ready to go as champion. Build your legacy. Build the fan base. Everyone will know you. And again, in that middleweight, a lot of guys in there. And that's the division that catches a lot of eyes. You're in that weight class, people love. People are going to tune into. That's just my worry if he wins. Can he live up to what being a champion is? And I'm not talking the PR bullcrap or whatever, whatever. I'm just talking of, can he be active enough? Can he be ready enough to give it a go every single time? Because I guarantee you, if he wins, he's going to get called out by a lot of guys. And if you're not ready, or if you're just going, I need a long pause, then you're in trouble. And by the way, this would be the same problem. It's not just a him problem. If let's say Patty takes the belt, I would think it'd be an issue of, Patty, can you fight again in 6 months? Because we've seen this. He needs long pauses as well. When they said, him and Gaethje were going to fight on the card next weekend, he's like, no, hell no. Are you kidding me? On that short? No. And you're like, well, you wanted the shot. You want to keep moving up. You got to go. You got to move. He needs a lot of time to cut that weight. He needs a lot of time to get ready. That's a problem. Not a massive problem, but just saying. So even, I'm not just doing this to crap on Khamzat. If this happens to Patty, I would share the same worry. Are you going to be ready enough? Are you going to, be, when someone calls you out or when there's a rising star, are you going to be able to hop in that octagon and get ready to go? You're going to be ready to start camp? Because that's what a lot of these title guys do. It's a worry. And we'll see if, he even beats DDP. We'll talk about next week, but DDP's a monster. And DDP is very hard to figure out. He's kind of like watching He's like the Larry Bird of the UFC. It's not pretty, but he gets it done. Jokic, I guess, would be the better angle. Jokic, it ain't pretty, it ain't smooth, but hell, he wins, and he can't be beat right now. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But that is the worry I have in that upcoming fight if he can win it and if he does pull it off. Very funny seeing him doing press conferences as well because he clearly does not enjoy it. He's clearly like, dude, get me the hell out of here. Which, I understand. Probably meeting with some people who are like, dude, I'm getting the same question 1,000 times. How are you going to win? It's like, all right. And then you have probably some other journalist that's going to try to, be fun, be funny. And then sometimes it hits and sometimes you're like, dude, I'd rather just not do this. Fair. Very fair. But exciting for that next weekend. I have more picks coming. MVP back on that too. On that card. Very excited to see him go. Hopefully at one freaking point I can pinpoint that guy right and actually be on the right side of him winning. But we'll see in that one. We'll just go through quickly some picks I have in this one. We'll start with the main one with Roman versus Anthony Hernandez for the middleweight division. In the middleweight division. I was for the division title. Hell no, that's CDP next weekend. But this is a tough one to call. It really is because I honestly look, the takedown defense for Roman is not the best. So it's 33%, but it's also like who's shooting on him, because his performance is very solid. Like he's fine on the ground. His jiu-jitsu is great. His wrestling's fine. And he's handling guys left and right, right? He beat the Italian Dream. He knocks out Holland. He beats Anthony Smith by decision at light heavyweight. And Anthony Hernandez has done his damage as well, right? His last losses was in 2020. He has 8 wins by submission. He has 5 first-round finishes. He's 14-2. So it's like a beast versus a beast. Like, what are you going to do? It's a bear versus, I don't know, a bigger bear. It's a gorilla versus the bear argument. Which one are you going to pick, right? Have that debate. But so it's a weird one on the where it's going to go. I think right now, looking at the odds, Roman is the big underdog. Huge underdog at plus 275. And I think that for a lot of reasons. One, Anthony is, like I said, hasn't lost in 2020 is insane. I think the other thing that's probably the scariest thing about Anthony is that his takedown average is nuts, like out of this world. And he can just make this fight really freaking boring. And what I mean that is he can just take you down and just mob you and just wait for that little opening to get choked. Wait for that little opening to get the armbar. Wait for that little opening to make you freaking suffer and make you really cry. That's what he can do. And then if you're like, all right, well, let's get back up here and let's, boo a little bit. Let's strike on the feet. Well, Buddy can do that too. And if you look at just like the numbers, it's a heavy lean on Hernandez. He outstrikes him. He takes less shots. He shoots better and he's more successful at it. Everything tells you to lean Anthony. And that's why he's a heavy favorite. And that's why, I was writing before I saw the odds. Like, yeah, like obviously give me Anthony, but I think it's just going to be really bad value. And it is. It's terrible value. Because it's, minus 345. Go ahead and put 5 buckaroos on that one. It's going to get you freaking nothing. So the way that you kind of go at it is I think you just take Anthony Hernandez win by decision. That's plus 180. So at least you have some plus odds there. His submissions plus 225. Maybe that's the other option you can go. KO or TKO is plus 350. I don't know if I would do that one just because I just don't see ending it that way. But I think Anthony Hernandez wins this one. It could be a really boring one. If it's exciting and it's standing up and it's a brawler, it's probably leaning Roman's way. If it's a ground game, it's boring and there's maybe some times where you land on each other, then it's going the big dog Anthony Hernandez's way. But that's where I'd go in that one. Then you have Oda Osborne versus Steve in the bantamweight division. And Steve's kind of putting it on the line a little bit, his ranking, and he's been kind of upfront about it. Like I saw him say, he was like, yeah, if I don't win this, like I could be donezo in the UFC, which is crazy to think. Because, yes, he's lost, 3 in a row now? But he lost to the current champion. Then he lost to France, who just fought for the belt. And he's one of the best strikers in that division. Then he lost to former champion Brandon Moreno. So it's like, okay, you're not fighting the guys that just got on the card and you're losing 3 straight. It's like, all right, I don't know if you can hang anymore. You're fighting the best of the best. The problem is you're losing to him, obviously. So there's a conversation of, a step up in the competition. Can he handle himself? Can he win? Or is he just like a middle of the tier fighter? Yada, yada, yada. He's facing Osborne that's taking this on a very short notice, and the odds reflect that. I think this is going to be the highlight reel fight for Steve. I think this is when he fights next and they do like the montage that you've seen like 80 times in a row. This is Steve. This is Steve's go. I think he wins it in the first round. I think it's going to be a quick one. A quick, let's get in, let's get out. Any way you want it. I think submissions is probably the safer option because he has 6 of them out of his 13 wins. But let's go on in the first round. Done. Sealed deal. It's going to be done quick. You don't move from the couch. It's going to be a quick one. And then you just go, all right. It's what you tell your girlfriend every Friday. It's going to be a quick one. And she's like, okay. That's how that one's going to go. The one I really like for an upset is Andre Fili. I like for an upset over Christian Rodriguez at the featherweight division. And there's a little multiple reasons why I kind of like that. One is because there's a huge reach advantage in this one. So Fili, 5'11" to 5'7", 74-inch reach to 71.5. The leg reach is 40 to 36.5. Pretty big. Now, Fili does take a lot of damage, like a lot, but he outstrikes Rodriguez. Then you add the reach, and then you just add that Rodriguez has lost 2 of his last 3. So, and Andre's lost 2 of his last 3 as well, but they're against some beast. At the same time, the odds you get on that are so great. Like, just come on, just freaking kiss me already. Like that, they're fantastic. So I'll look for the guy that's got the reach, that's got more experience. That it's taking damage, but damage against the best. If he can take a couple shots from Dan Ige, he can take a couple shots from Christian Rodriguez. That's where I lean for that one. Both kind of not do or die, but both lost 2 of the last 3. They desperately need one in the win column. We'll see how that one goes. But that's where I lean in that one. Those are the only 3 picks I had. Breakdown of the DDP Khamzat fight coming soon. A little bit of insight earlier of what I think that entails, but can't wait for that one. I mean, it's great. And like DDP's already talked about how he wants to move up to light heavyweight, I should say. Still a couple guys I think he has to run through. I mean, he has RDR in there. He has Barelo in there. Like, he deserves a title shot here soon. I think he has a fight coming up here soon. Let me check. I'm pretty sure he does. Oh, maybe he doesn't. Well, he just won his last one in August. He does have another one coming up, though. I know that for a freaking fact. You have RDR that's been rolling through guys. Let's say Rollman wins this one. Like, let's say it's a stunner. Let's say Jared takes out MVP pretty easily. Like, he'll probably move up in there. Like, there's guys that are just waiting at the cusp. Like, let's say Paulo gets nerfed. I know he really wants Khamzat. Like, let's say they actually give it to him. I doubt it. Like, he's going to move. Like, that division needs to be wiped clean, and then he can go up. And I think he knows that, too. He's not, like, unaware of that. And there's some killers in that light heavyweight division that still kind of deserves their shot. But I'd love to see it. Him versus Yuri, give it to me. God, I love it. That's all I got for myself, Mario Herron on Wages and Warriors. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you hate it. Subscribe if you want. Unsubscribe if you want. And see you guys next time.